welcome back to Ando Works.
That's not a good sign.
What's not a good sign?
There's oil on the floor.
Oh.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to Ando Works. So, yesterday I was in here and actually got the new sump on the engine. Can you please show the sump?
Oh. What am I showing?
You're definitely not showing it.
What is it? What is it?
So yesterday I was in here and I got the new sump on with the new gasket and basically did an oil change on it, or put new oil in it. And I've got oil in the gearbox and also the diff as well. And the clutch is bled.
Yes it is. You're welcome.
Thanks. But yeah, I filled everything up with oil last night to come into this morning. A little bit of oil on the ground.
Kind of doesn't look like proper oil though, it's kind of like leftovers. Is that a thing?
No, it's dripping. I
Oh, it
can
is.
see that it's dripping. So today's plan was to put the exhaust on and then start the car for the first time in a little while to see basically if the gearbox worked and check for leaks and things like that. To already have a leak. So
Easy fix, right?
I guess the first, where the f is that coming from?
Let's look.
I was just looking over the engine to try to find where that oil leak was coming. I was really worried it was the rear main seal and I damaged it when I put it in, which means I'd have to take the gearbox off again to fix that. But it actually looks like maybe, this is just my first thought, is that it's coming from the rocker cover gasket just on this side here. But otherwise, yeah, I'll put the exhaust on and then we're just going to work towards starting the car. So I only got a few minutes help out of my filmer and now she's gone. So it's just me again. But the exhaust is on and I've had a quick check over everything else to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So I guess it's kind of time to try to start it now and see what happens. Things that I've got to watch out for when I start it just now is oil's not leaking out of the new sump, oil's not leaking out of the engine anywhere else, oil's not leaking out of the gearbox or the diff. Starter motor actually works and doesn't damage anything. Same with the drive shaft. While I'm running it, I've got to watch the temperatures. Make sure there's no exhaust leaks because I've had that on and off. And then basically figure out if the gearbox works or not. So, got to see if the clutch works, see if it selects gears. I don't know. I think it would probably be pretty obvious if it's not going to work. But we'll see how we go. And then I've got that oil leak which I found just before to watch out for as well and see where that's coming from. So, whole lot of stuff to figure out, whole lot of stuff to keep an eye on. I'm a little bit stressed, but I guess we'll just do it and see what happens. If there's issues, we'll deal with it afterwards, or we'll go home. Okay, so I think I need to press the clutch in. I don't think it's going to start anyway the first time. Oh. Oh, I'm so scared about that starter motor. Oh. And I get a phone call. Hey man.
Hey, is that thing running yet or what?
I'm literally just sitting in it now with the cameras like rolling, about to try to start it. It's turning over, which is a good thing. So I guess that means that the starter motor works. Probably put the choke on. We'll see.
I'll call you back in a few minutes, eh?
Alright.
Yeah, I'll call you back in a few minutes.
Okay.
Have a look over it.
Yeah.
Alright, bye.
Bye. That was Tyler, the other half of Ando Works. So it's turning over. No major bad noises have happened yet. So that's probably a good thing. But, like, it's not starting, which it usually has problems starting anyway. I might just need to put the battery on charge. Probably need to look over a few things first. Oh. Well, it started. I'll go check that there's no oil pissing everywhere. Well, it started for the first time in 2 months. Sounded a little bit like there was an exhaust leak or something, so I guess I'll check over that first and check that there's no oil coming out the bottom of the engine or gearbox or something, so I don't know. This is where my oil leak was coming down before. It's not there at the moment, which is good, after it just ran for a little bit, for like 10 seconds. But the starter motor worked and it started it, which is great. Oh, I see what might have been causing some of the problem here. A little flex joint on the exhaust, you can't see, but just here is hitting the trans cross member. So I just need to see if I can get that there not to hit, which I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. Be back in a few minutes. Okay, so it's been well over an hour now of me just trying to figure out this exhaust problem and why it's hitting that transmission cross member, and trying to just like clock things, adjust it, tighten it in different orders. Nothing working, it's still just pressing hard up against it. Also, I've figured out that the oil leak we had at the start, I can see it coming down from like up the top of the block, and it's just like pissing out the top of the head rocker cover gasket up there. So need a new one of those, but I guess that's better than it being the rear main seal, so I don't have to take the gearbox out, which is one good thing. But back to the exhaust problem. So this is with the downpipe here bolted up to the header up there, and this is where it ends up being, and this is basically where the rest of the exhaust needs to be, so this flex joint here doesn't hit the cross member. I managed to push the cross member up a little bit more and tighten it up again to make a bit more room, but you can see it's still way off. And this is basically the only conclusion that I've come to, and it kind of makes sense. The downpipe here is basically on way too much of an angle up that way, so I'm thinking maybe the engine is also on a different angle that way now. And the reason I think that that could have actually happened was when the automatic gearbox was in here, this transmission isolator wasn't actually there. It had just, no one had put one in. So the transmission was sitting lower and it was just resting on the mount, not even bolted to it. So the transmission was sitting lower, so the engine was actually tilted back that way a bit. Because this is a custom exhaust, when it was made it was like on that angle, so to tuck it up as high as they could, they fabricated it for like basically what wasn't the right engine angle. So now I've got this isolator in for the transmission, the engine's sitting more like this, and so it's like that, and yeah, you get the idea. But for the time being I'll just make this work, and it'll just sound like for today. But at least maybe we'll get to test the gearbox and stuff. Yeah, so I'll do that. It's misfiring. Alright, should I put it in gear?
Are you sure it's not this hitting against something? This is moving like a motherfucker. The engine.
Alright, first gear. That's first, yeah.
Other ones it works the way.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like the... No, it won't go into any gear.
What'd you say?
It won't go into any gear. It won't go into first when I'm just like sitting here as well. Okay, it's the next day. I think I should probably explain what happened yesterday. So, first of all, obviously with the oil leak and then the exhaust problem, wasn't in the best mood with that. But I've already got a new rocker cover gasket ordered, so that's easy and we'll fix the exhaust problem. So my girlfriend and my dad showed up just before I was about to start it again, which was great. Other people to keep their eye on things. So I started the car and it was running pretty shitty. And then it came to the gearbox. So I, had the clutch in already and went to put it in first gear and just grind. So I was like, that's not good. And then trying to put it into second, third, fourth, fifth, it was just like completely locked out. So, I mean, if it's not going to go into gear, maybe the synchros are bad, or maybe but then it kind of seemed like the clutch wasn't working. By that time I thought we were just going to kind of wrap it up for the day and go home, so shut off the cameras. After that, we were just talking and I started it again, pumped the clutch a few times. It is bled properly, and then it went into gear. Not perfectly, but it went into gear first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and I actually ran it through the gears. There was some noise and vibration and stuff from the drivetrain, but it's pretty hard to get a good idea for it when the car's not under load. Like it's not spinning really any weight at all. When the car's on the ground and stuff, I think a lot of that would go. That's just because there's no basically resistance to it. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start it up again and I'm going to run it through the gears. I'm going to have another check over everything, and then we're basically just going to, go from there. So I'll swap onto the GoPro so we can kind of see more of what's happening. Alright, round 3 I think it is now. Hopefully not low on battery. I'll charge the battery and we'll try that again. Okay, alright, round 4. So you can hear the exhaust just rattling on that mount, but I've got oil pressure. The temperature will come up, the fuel gauge doesn't work anyway. That's just the battery voltage. I'll just keep warming it up a bit so it runs a bit better. Then I'll try go through some gears. You can see the diff just turning slowly there because the clutch is brand new and there's no load to stop it. Kind of running smooth enough now that I can try shift some gears. So pump the clutch a few times. Enter first. Second. Third. That didn't sound good. That flywheel seems pretty good though. So the diff is spinning, but the speedo isn't reading anything, so I guess my speedo drive isn't working correctly. But it's getting pretty smoky in here, so I'm just going to shut it down and get some fresh air. Okay, that's basically going to wrap up this video of testing the gearbox. We won't really know what it's like until it's under load and the wheels are on and we can drive the car. I need to fix the rocker cover leak. I need to fix that where the exhaust is hitting the cross member, and need to figure out why the speedo's not working. And I'm actually going to drain the gearbox fluid and put some decent Redline MT90 I think it is in it. But I'll wrap this one up here. I think I'll do the next video on the E30. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and see you in the next one.
Make the monitors melt, make the monitors melt, make the